Okay, a little wider. Yeah, it was wider for me as well, from what I was.
It was wider than it was, but narrower than what I had been doing up until recently when I finally brought my hands in. Like when I was in Cedro this year, my hands were very wide. And and it was and then this winter I brought them into relatively narrow. And I was trying to find where is it better. And and he said, no, 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 where you are is too narrow. And so you end up um, in here, right? When the bar is all the way down, you're at more than 90 degrees. It's hard to get out of it. And if you're less, obviously less than 90 degrees would be a great thing, but only if you
Very.
can. He said the most powerful position, which makes, I've always taught the same thing. The most powerful position is at 90 degrees. So when you're hanging on a pull-up bar, if you're less than 90 degrees, it's kind of hard, and if you're more than 90
Right.
degrees, it's hard. But at 90, you're super powerful. You get it? So he said that's where you want to be. So we just moved the hands out until I was at 90. He said that's where you should go. That's where you're going to get the best drive. So,
That makes sense. I mean,
and
there
I
should
told
be a
him
physical force.
I couldn't tell because there was only 40 kilos on the bar. And you know how it is with bench. It's easy, it's easy, it's easy, it's impossible as you go up in weight. It's easy, 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 impossible. And what happened to the part where, and he said, you'll know that it's right because bench will become more of an all body lift than it probably has been for you. Because it should be a full body lift, just like squat and deadlift.
Well, that would be nice to find a way to incorporate that all. I mean, I've heard it, and I've pushed through the feet and things of that nature while I'm, but I've just never. It's never connected. It's always felt very isolated to just chest,
He,
arms.
he explained it. He explained it a little differently than the guys have explained it to me before, and it was just enough
Mm.
different. He talked about how to hold the bar. Like I've had people tell me, hold the bar, and then as if you were pulling your hands apart. Your hands stay where they are, but the pressure on the bar would be as if you were pulling your hands apart, like you're trying to elongate the bar. And then I've had other people tell me, no, 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 it's like you hold the bar and then you squeeze them together as if you were pushing in that direction. And he had a new twist on this completely. He said that when I'm trying to show it so people can see it as well, because I know people are coming on board at this point. He said that when you're in this lift, that when you're here, you're in a rather weak state, but when you're here, you're in a much stronger state. That the the twisting action that you put on the bar isn't out or in, but it's as if you were trying to curve the bar so that it
Hmm.
bowed.
Towards
And
you, right?
yeah, the ends away towards your feet, and the bowing towards you in the middle. And you just torque it like you're turning a wrench with both hands. And as soon as you do that, if you squeeze your hands and squeeze as hard as you can like that, what you can feel is that your lats and
Your
back
back
are
right here.
involved in that action,
Yeah.
which is a part that I've never been able to get my lats into the bench.
Interesting.
And I felt it immediately when I started playing with it with him today. So,
And
and
those could be
that's
subtle things that people do that have on the bench that don't even, that may not even be able to communicate.
he told me a lot of tips in a really short period of time, almost to the point where I go, wow, I might go back and talk to him just about lifting someday, and just spend an hour with him talking about lifting, or half an hour. He's a half an hour from my house, so I don't know, but it was
Well, this,
it, it was coaching time well spent.
it'll hinge on the performance tomorrow in the next couple of days. If see if the if it pays off, you'll probably be back there.
Isn't that the truth, right? If somebody gives you coaching information and it pays off, then you go, wow, okay, but at least in theory it made sense. he talked about the difference of whether your hands should be like that or like that. And he says, I don't want to be back here.
It would
I'm
seem weaker.
stronger.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I tend to relax and go back here a bit, but I'll play with that and then bringing them in and then hands wide enough so I'm at 90. And then he also talked about tension, because we all know there's a drive through your heels. But the way it's always been taught to me was that when the bar comes to your chest and then it's on your chest, then you drive through your heels and push and it all just goes. He says, no, that's not how it works at all. He says you drive through your heels before you start lowering the bar. You put all that tension on your heels and through your legs before you start bringing the bar down. That creates stability. Then as you lower the bar down, you just keep that tension and you're just adding and adding and adding to the tension so that when you go to uncoil, boom, just pops. But that the push then can come from your delts and from your triceps and
You're almost getting me excited to try out the bench again.
Yeah, I understand. Well, and then he had more tips. He was really just like, he understands this pretty darn well, enough to have the vocabulary just flying off his tongue. And I understood what he was saying because I've had enough experience that what he was saying made sense in theory. Now we got to see what happens when you put it into practice.
I'm excited to hear the results.
The whole idea of coming down slowly, as opposed to letting the bar come down quickly.
It seems he
said a few other things. Yeah. Now, he said a few other things that were quite interesting. And, this is what makes coaching such a powerful tool because, when the student's ready, the teacher appears.
Well, it seems the students are ready and the teacher is here. Welcome, everyone. This is another 80-10-10 group coaching session with Dr. Douglas Graham. My name is Kevin Cosmo. I'll be the host for tonight's program. If you're here today, you're either part of the 80-10-10 family, the online educational and support community, or you're part of the 80-10-10 Kickstart program. Dr. Graham's going to start us off. If you haven't been to one of these in a while, or this is a new session for you, these group coaching sessions run a little differently than the Q&A. We first start off with a little teaching or coaching session from Dr. Graham, and then we get to ask the questions pertaining to the subject matter at hand. As Dr. Graham mentioned in his little opening dialogue there, you can get a lot of tips and a lot of information that come in fast, so we'll encourage you to take notes. And in this particular lesson, I'm having a hard time mixing the two, lecture or lesson here. But in this particular lesson, we're going to be focusing on assessing our fitness, and Dr. Graham's going to help us get some personalized techniques and tools to do so. So without much further ado, here's Dr. Douglas Graham.
Well, thank you so much. I'm having a little technical challenge here, Kevin, which maybe you can help me with.
My tongue was having one there just a moment.
Yeah, I heard. Which is that I can't look over at all there's usually that whole bar on the right, and I don't know how to find it.
If anyone's having trouble seeing the dialog bar on the right, you'll click a little left on the left there. There should be a little Webinar Jam. There's a little
Studio?
Webinar Jam Studio. Yep, it'll be a lightning bolt. Perfect. A little white monitor with a red lightning bolt. Yes.
I didn't want to click on something that was just going to stop me cold. No, I don't know. It's just
as far as being able to see the chat box on the right, that's not showing up for you right now? No,
what happened is they got a whole bunch of bars coming up where the lightning bolt was, and maybe looks like it's trying to load or something. I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay. I'll ask if anyone else is anyone else having any technical difficulties?
Open up Webinar Jam Studio, downloading the app. I think we'll just cancel all that right now. You guys can still see me?
It appears so. I didn't get any messages from anyone just yet.
If you can see me and you can hear me, then I'm here, and it's now. I want to talk to you about something that's rather dear to me tonight, and I'm going to encourage you to take notes. This is one of the few times. I mean, sometimes I'll supply you with notes. Sometimes we'll make notes downloadable for later on if you want them afterwards. Sometimes I give notes in advance so that you can follow along. Sometimes I give notes that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but they have everything to do with what I'm talking about. They augment. So they're supplemental notes. I mean, we've tried it a lot of different ways. And tonight what I want is for you to take notes, because I'm going to be giving you options on what to
Doug,
write down.
I hate to interject, but it
Yeah.
seems that we may be experiencing some technical difficulties around. A couple people are saying well, Pam says she has no picture or voice, and Lisa's saying she doesn't hear anything.
I
Initially,
think that's
people
them. All right, how about everybody else? Is there anybody who can hear and can see? Because I can see.
I suppose I should ask the positive.
Let's just check for some positives, because then we know if it's us or them.
Okay.
We getting any positives?
I'm still waiting to hear.
Any positives out there? Can anybody hear me?
So Penny can see.
Penny, you can see and hear. Okay. That pretty much sums it up right there, doesn't it?
I will write the standard. If anyone's having technical difficulties, I encourage you to reload the page. Often a refresh tends to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry to proceed.
So anyway, tonight's notes, and I guess what I'm supposed to do at this point is, if you don't have a pencil or a pen or a writing implement of some kind, piece of chalk, and you don't have paper, I'm going to give you 1 full minute to go get them, while Kevin and I just schmooze a little bit more. And you have 1 minute from now. This also gives the people who are trying to reload a chance to do so.
I mentioned it as well in the message there. So, yep,
of course, if they can't hear me, then they don't know they're supposed to reload.
That'll make it difficult. But the benefit of at least having access to the customer hub, the 801010, our portal, people can go back and look at this footage if they need to, or they missed a few minutes. Apologies to the family for anyone who's watching this now. There was a little technical difficulty with the customer hub software. They had changed around their infrastructure, and for a couple days, no one could log into the family. Even us, we couldn't log in as the admin side.
Yeah.
So
that was fun, wasn't it?
It wasn't too fun, but that issue is resolved, so you can find the replays readily available now. Okay.
So if you have your paper, you have your pencil, if I say something worth writing down, go ahead. But I'm actually going to mention a few points where I feel it's important. What I want to talk to you about is a concept called assessments. And assessments kind of mean like an evaluation. It's not a test per se that you can pass or fail. You can only pass. So it's just like somebody saying to you, "Where are you?" And you go, "I'm here." Well, okay, that's where you are. The assessment tells you where you are now. It gives you an idea of where you are now. And what we want to look at tonight is fitness assessment. There are many different kinds of assessments, obviously, but we're going to do fitness assessment. And I want to describe to you a little bit about why I do them, how I use them, how you might use them. Is it worth repeating them? how you can use them to compare and see if you're making progress, and also how you can use them so that you can compare your fitness to other people's fitness, uh, even in such a way as to make yourself look way fitter than them if you so desire, or them way fitter than you if you so desire. So the idea of the fitness assessment, as I say, is to give you a fair idea of where you are now in any aspect or all aspects of your fitness. And it's nice to know where you are. It's good to have a starting point, because from that starting point, you can then gauge over time if you're making progress and how much progress you're making. You can give yourself a valid comparison of your fitness compared to other people's fitness, or, as we say, comparison yours to your own in the past. If you were going to start some kind of fitness program, the assessment gives you a much better idea of the frequency, intensity, and duration of the training you should do or shouldn't do, the types of workouts. If we did something as easily as a strength workout, when Kevin gets on the bench and he says, well, my maximum bench press is 70 kilos, just per se, but I know he can do more than that. If he said, okay, my maximum bench press is 70 kilos, well, it would be silly to get into a bench press program where you start at 100, because he's not going to be able to do it. And it's very frustrating to start way beyond your ability level, and just keep getting zeros. At the same point, if he can do 70, it'd probably be kind of pointless to start a fitness, a bench press program where he's never doing more than 30 kilos. There might be some benefit at 40 or 50, arguably. There could well be, even down in that lower zone, to work on some technique issues. But at 30 or 20, he's not really going to improve his strength of bench press. So knowing where you are is hugely important. And whether that's you knowing where you are, or a coach knowing where you are, a personal trainer, somebody who's helping you, teammates, if you're going to join a running club and they're going to put you in a group of 5 other runners and they all run 4-minute miles and you run 9-minute miles, you're not going to get to run with those people at all. So it's important to have a lot of people, when I ask them about their fitness, and they just go, I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can't do. I had a guy tell me one time he learned how to swim. He really liked it. He felt like he was pretty good at swimming. And he said a year from then, he intended to be on the national team and break Olympic records. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I said, I'd love to see that happen. But, the likelihood of that happening is really slim. I mean, swimmers put in decades before they break records very often, or a decade. And this guy, just learning how to swim as an adult I said it was highly unlikely that he was going to break national records, let alone world records. And anyway, having an idea of what your, realistically what your capabilities are, I think is exceptionally important. Yes, Kevin?
Doug, it seems as if we might be experiencing issues everywhere right now.
Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. And I've interject only to ask if you'd like to continue on the point that we could let people have a replay, but then there will be no interaction, or would you like to try to? I don't even know what we could attempt to do. I mean, you're saying from your side you're not seeing any Webinar Jam software on the side?
I can't get the right-hand side to load at all.
Because from the chat box, most people are saying that they're seeing a blank screen from us right now.
A blank screen.
A
Can they
blank
hear
screen.
us?
They cannot hear us neither. No. But
Well, if they
but I
can't
know
see you,
but it is. I know it's recording because we are live. So I trust that it's recording for our
you know,
sake.
I got in differently this time than I did in the past,
Okay.
right? Because Karen was on first, and I came and joined her,
Okay.
which she seemed to think she'd done well, and I'm not knocking her. So certainly not on the air. I'm not knocking her even off the air. But
No,
I
I
came in.
understand. So
I came
it
in
may be a little
differently,
differently.
and I don't know if that makes a difference. And if we do it the way we usually do it, you want to? Can we even do that? I'm not sure what to suggest.
We could try to restart it, uh, or as I mentioned, the other option is just to record. I'm pretty confident now that no one is able to hear us. It's just a conversation between you and I, and that this will be recorded for use as a replay, or those are our options. So I'm just wanting to get your feedback on it. I'm actually for the restarting of it, or not the
Yeah.
restarting of it, but just the reloading of it. If I send you this link here, I think it might be a worthwhile venture to see if it can restart.
Okay.
It's up to you. I'm willing to work either way with
I'm
you, Doug.
willing to start it again. What the heck? I mean, spend the time and start again. So what do we got to do? Stop this broadcast and then you'll send me a
Well,
link?
well, how did you? So you got into the room through the same link that normally is sent, right? Into
Yeah,
your
but
link.
when I joined, Karen was already on.
It was already on.
Yeah. So I didn't open up the webinar jam. I didn't open up the Google Hangout. She had already opened everything up, and I just joined her. And she dropped out, and you joined us. Or you joined us, and then she dropped out. I don't know why it's a problem.
Were you the one to restart that?
Yeah, do I just stop this one?